Pringle looking towards Agard. Ravel, ambitious, but brilliant! I don't believe it! I swear I do not believe it! And they are back on terms!
Hello, welcome to New York Talk. The Euros is over, so it's time to get serious and talk about another team that will probably eventually break our hearts again in Rotherham United. So we are going to talk about some Euro stuff tonight. We are going to cover the final off a little bit, as much as we can stomach to talk about. We've got the Parkgate game to talk about the trip away the players having in Hungary, and then we're going to do the transfer talk, which is still a little bit quiet as things stand. We've got the standard team. We've got myself. Mick is with us. Grumpy Mick.
Hello.
Ben has still got his bright pink arm cast. There you go. Still injured, Ben?
Yeah, it actually comes off in 2 weeks. So it's all right.
If you say so.
Not that anyone can.
No, surely don't. And we've got a podcast debut tonight. Danny Glaves has joined us tonight. If people will know his work from the website. Cheers for joining us, Danny.
No worries. Thank you for having me.
So Danny went to the Parkgate game, as I'm sure you've all read his report. Since us three all missed it, we thought it was very important if somebody was there at the game. So Danny's going to cover that with us and everything else in between. So thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoy it. Everybody else enjoys it.
Hopefully I'm not too boring, eh?
Well, it can't be as boring as somewhere else, so it's fine, mate.
Apparently, we're the three most boring people in Rotherham. I've seen this before.
Mick's not
I'll let
taking
it go, don't
personally,
worry.
right?
No. I don't hang on to things, as you are very well aware. It comes into my life and I let it go again. Gavin Ward.
I'm more thinking Michael Oliver 2013, but yeah.
Well, whatever, yeah. Don't like him either.
No. So we're going to start by finishing. We talked about the Euros last time on the last episode. We're going to finish off by talking the Euros. We'll start by finishing off the Euros today. Everybody knows what happened. Mick, England, that's what happens, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I don't find myself massively disappointed, to be honest. Well, I don't. I'm used to it, and I say that in all seriousness. I am genuinely used to it. I supported Rotherham all my life, so that sort of disappointment you become used to. And I've supported England all my life, and I think they have performed exceptionally well. I think they've been outstanding for just about the whole of the tournament, and there's been some real sort of breakout players for me. Within that squad, Calvin Phillips for one, for me has just been absolutely immense. I think he's been fantastic. But as a whole, I think the squad's done really well. I think Gareth Southgate's really got them on the right track. And I, you know what, Sunday night's just a start for me. It is definitely one of the best England squads I've seen.
Yeah, it's one of the most exciting, certainly. The young players we've got in the squad is as good as I can ever remember. Danny, I got a message from a friend yesterday, and I felt the same. He said, is it still okay to feel sad the day after? And now on Tuesday, I'm still feeling quite sad about it. I assume you're just the same. It's just gut ripped out of you, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you can't help but feel sad, really. We've lost a final at an international level. I mean, we don't know. We might never experience a European final again, but you have to feel pride for the country as well, because we've finally got over that bridge of we haven't got to a European final since '66. And now that we've done it, we can kick on and win one. And you've seen on social media and just all over the internet, we're going to win the World Cup 2022 now. It's nailed on. It's nailed on. But, the way the players have performed, it's surpassed all expectations for an England squad. I mean, Mick supported them a lot longer than me, but I got into football during the golden generation, and it's like the golden generation because of who they are as players, not because of what they did with England. But I think this little community of players that we've got now should be called the new golden generation, just from what they've achieved.
Yeah, I agree. They've been superb. I love them. Ben, you always have something to pick out and nitpick on. Just full of pride, or you got some sort of problem with?
Listen, I know Mick said it's England, but it's not England. We got to a final. That's not what England do. So I'm quite happy because I think France are our only competitors. I think Italy were awful. I think they've next year. well, they were. Bonucci's mixed age, Chiellini's mixed age. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how they made the play guys.
You'd follow them right into battle, wouldn't you? They're the type of guys who would be right behind them.
Him who scored, I hate him.
Why?
I just see what he did. He's coming to Rome. Whatever he did, that made the life out of me. But I think we can do some good things. I don't think there's a lot of countries with our talent and youth, if you know what I mean. I think Belgium are up there, but they can't play together. Aren't they? Yeah, they're in the cycle and they can't even play together. So I think France are the only ones contesting us internationally. So I'm happy.
Yeah, when we came into tournament with for me, defensively was a real issue, Mick. I was genuinely worried about our defence. I thought we'll be fine going forward because we've got arguably the second best attacking setup in the entire world. But defensively, we were by far and away the best defensive team. And other than a stunning free kick against Denmark and a set piece against Italy, didn't like scoring, conceded.
Stunning.
Well, Muller, obviously.
Stunning free kick. Well,
I think
should have saved it, but whatever. No, I'm joking.
Free kick.
It was a good free. It was a good free kick. It was a good free kick.
Go on, mate.
Yeah. Defensively. I mean, we've got 3 Yorkshire lads back there, haven't they? 3 South Yorkshire lads back there.
The Yorkshire brick wall. That's what they've called
it. Absolutely. And they were outstanding. Absolutely fantastic. And Declan Rice and Calvin Phillips in front of them obviously added that weight. But defensively, for me, Kyle Walker's just been the player of the tournament defensively. Without a shadow, you can take your Italians and shove them where you want. For me, because from a defensive point of view, he's brilliant. I've got a big problem with Italians, big problem, and you know why?
You would.
You know why?
I know you would.
Well, why? It's not because they beat us. I don't mind. They were the better side on the night, and they probably deserved to win. But for me, they're just cheating scum, aren't they? They are just cheats. You can't dress it up any other way. They are as bad as any team that I can think of that ain't got Ronaldo in. Any team, you know. I mean, they're just dreadful. It's just embarrassing. Genuinely embarrassing.
Are you with him, Danny?
Yeah, I am actually. I mean, with the Italians, they are the country that pushes gamemanship right to its limit in football, because they are. Some people say they're clever the way they fall to the ground, but in other terms, it's you felt someone just pinch you and you've gone down, which is what the Danish said about Raheem Sterling's penalty. But we'll leave that as it is. But the one thing that I've got an issue with the Italians is number 3. I forget his name. Number 3 is foul on Saka. That was.
Pulled him back.
That was a disgusting tackle to make in a football game. That's something more UFC inclined.
He went to shake his hand as well. After. Yeah, they all do that. They snap you and then go to shake your hand after.
Yeah. But it definitely shows the difference between Italian football and English football. We have more of a sporting game. They have more of a gamesmanship mentality to football.
They're going to win at all costs, literally, no matter what the cost is. It doesn't matter what their issue is. They want to win and win and win. If that means taking his head off, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
That's not the right. No. If you want to win, you little gay.
I'm not defending it. I'm not defending it. But what I'm saying is that's what they do. Although I don't want us to. I would never want England to play like that. But at the same time, I have a sort of an appreciation that art, if you want to call it art, they've mastered it.
Oh my! No.
And they are the best at
art.
it. And
Oh yeah, they're the best at it. They're the best at it. That's not a compliment. That's not a compliment. It's not an art. First of all, right? I enjoyed the way England played the way. I like the fact that we did it against them. But I look over sports, right? And this is another conversation. Non-contact sports such as basketball, there's 10 times more contact in basketball than there is in our sport. Like I understand if we're going to do that, that's fine. Let's label it as a non-contact sport because that's what it is at the minute. We can't label it as this contact sport and then like see some of the fouls that get given.
Okay.
And some of them that don't.
And some of them that don't as well.
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, you know me, I'm not one to stick up for Jack Grealish at all. In fact, I will take every possible opportunity I can to slag him off. However, if that challenge on Jack Grealish weren't a red card, I have never seen one. And the fact that we've got, I mean, to give the referees due, it was a good 3 yards away, so he might not have seen it. And the fact that he's only got 4 other people watching 15 different cameras watching it, they might not have seen it either. But I'm sure that Welsh player got sent off for something similar, or a lot less than that. Would you know? And the other couple of challenges in the tournament that have been not as bad as that have suffered red cards, but it made no difference to the end result, did it? At the end of the day, it's just an indication as to how some of these other countries see the game of football, and it doesn't do it for me. I'm afraid they just pack it in and create their own league somewhere.
I think the Italians pulled an Aston Villa and just took plug out right at that moment. Just took VAR's plug out. I was like, this year.
Yeah, that would surprise me. One negative before we finish on a positive on the England chat. We've got to talk about the abuse that the English players have received. Unfortunately, not surprising. As soon as you think about it, what happened when the players that missed penalties, you knew straight away they were going to get the abuse that they got. That's obviously not a defence. That's just a sad state of affairs that we have to expect that these heroes have put their heart on the line and everything else. It's not gone their way, and then these people see fit to take out their anger because of the colour of their skin. Danny, I'll come to you first. We don't see this at our club as much. It may well happen, it may not, but when it's just a bad reflection on society and a bad reflection on football fans and everything. It's just bad.
Yeah, it is. But I've noticed it is normally the players from clubs who have very big fan bases that get the most abuse. It's like it's not too long ago that we saw one of Manchester United's players being pelted with coins and bottles and everything just because he was black and he was going to go and take a corner. Yeah. And you've got the 3 main targets are the 3 players who missed the penalties because it's Rashford, Sancho and Saka. 2 of which, well, Sancho will be playing for Man United next season. Rashford's already there. And then Saka's is so unjust because he's such a brave young lad to step up and take the penalty at 19 years old. You know, he doesn't deserve that at his first major international tournament. It's just not fair. But people have nitpicked little things to try and get under the skin as much as they can. And unfortunately, one of them things is the skin colour, which is so abhorrently wrong to do towards another human being in this day and age. It's just so wrong in football. The sport that's meant to unite us with one common direction of we need to support England, and then as soon as they've lost, we're back straight down that divide again of skin colour. It's just wrong.
It's again, you've been around longer than us. This has been a problem for a lot longer than we've been around, but it's got to stop. And Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, they need to do more than they're currently doing to get these people reported. If it's a criminal offence, which it obviously is a criminal offence, action needs to be taken because it's not right. This can't continue.
Yeah, the social media companies will not take any action. They will not take any action whatsoever because it's all about the money. But why should they have to take any action? You know, these people, they're just babies, aren't they? They're just little babies. We've seen it this season or last season. to a different degree, but the principle remains the same. We don't know how to lose. We can't lose, and if we don't, because we've not been taught how to lose as we've grown up. It's this medal for taking part generation almost, isn't it? You know what I mean? Well, it is. Part of your growing up process, part of the process of growing up is to be able to handle disappointment, to be able to learn how to lose. And we've had a generation of kids, and that's what the vast majority of these people are. We've had a generation of kids who've grown up no experience in losing at anything. So the first time something like this happens, we have to find somebody to blame. I just the behaviour of some people who claim to support England, not only with this, I mean, this is probably, as Danny said, the most abhorrent part of it. But the behaviour of some of these people of a Sunday overall were just embarrassing, absolutely embarrassing. Trying to forcing their way into the stadium and just causing grief all over the country. It's just embarrassing. But we've had it in football, as you said, for many, many years. Same sort of people. The racism was a lot more open and widespread back in the 70s and 80s. But the violence and the clowns that just go along because they want to scrap, they've always been there, But now you can add into that the issues with social media, the issues with certainly the mainstream media as well, or some of the mainstream media stoking the fires, just for clicks. And when you start to add everything in there together, it's a bit of a toxic sort of outcome, isn't it? And Sunday was just, the defeat on Sunday was just a sort of a culmination of all that. And you see the worst of people, that it embarrasses you as a football supporter, that you have to be associated with it, because we do have to be associated with it because it's our sport. But these clowns they're just babies, just little babies.
Ben, anything to add?
I mean, the reason they do it, in my opinion, is because they're so bitterly disappointed with their own lives that they're 30, 40, 50, spending all the money in a pub watching a 19-year-old achieve more than they'll ever dream of.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
You're
it.
right.
He's 19 taking a penalty.
I
and
like the way you
40,
simplify
50.
things, Ben. I love it.
He's 19 taking a penalty and you're 40, 50 spending all your money in a pub. Let's look at the difference. Like, can you even have an opinion? Like,
the other thing I would say on the racism topic, just sort of briefly, if you know somebody who's responsible for some of these tweets, some of these Facebook posts, some of these Instagram posts, if you know they are, report them. Absolutely. Do not sit there and say how disgusting it is and not do anything about it. Pick up the phone, ring the police, report them, grass them up, make it public, make it be known, because something's got to be done about it. And like we said, the social media companies are not going to do it, because why would they?
No, I think it's a fair shout, but I agree with. I will agree with that one. Final point on England, because I think we finished. It's been a fantastic tournament for England. I think we'll just have to finish up by picking one person out each, who you think's been the player. England's sort of, not as a standout player, but who's either surprised you or enjoyed watching him play. Mick, you mentioned Calvin Phillips a minute ago. Is he your sort of standout player for you?
Yeah, I think he is. Yeah, I think he's been brilliant. Cool. Definitely.
Ben?
Saka. I think the amount of what he says about him to stand up and take a penalty at 19, the fifth penalty at 19 is like that says all you need to know about him. So
he just looks like the happiest guy in the world as well. I just look, that picture on the unicorn was just the happiest picture you'll ever want to see ever. It's just beautiful. Love it. Danny?
I mean, there's been a few, haven't there, really? Yeah. There's been a fair few. But for me, I'm going to say Jordan Pickford. He has had an unreal tournament. To go the full length and only concede 2 goals, one of which was a very, very good free kick, and the other one were a bit of a shambles at the near post after he made an incredible save. He has to hold his head up high with that. And I don't know how the Italian keeper's won player of the tournament when he actually was a worse goalkeeper than Pickford was. But yeah, I'll say Jordan Pickford, even though a lot of them are up there on his level this tournament.
Pickford saved 2 penalties as well.
Yeah.
Exactly. And lost.
He did his job. Saving 2 penalties.
Did definitely.
He's the only England keeper to have saved a penalty in a major tournament. And he saved about, how many? He's about 4 or 5 now.
At least 4
altogether, yeah.
Yeah. And there were rumours that it was going to be next up on the penalty takers as well.
Yeah, I've seen that, yeah. Mind you, he can take a good penalty though, Pickford.
He can, yeah. He has been superb, Pickford. I'm going to go Declan Rice. I thought it was probably man of the match for me. Up until he got brought off, it was so important. And when he went off, we lost a lot of the energy in midfield. Henderson didn't quite fill the boots where I expected him to. And when Rice first came in the England team 18 months ago, whatever, I was really not convinced. I was really worried that that's the type of player we're bringing in. And he's just turned into this fantastic footballer. And hopefully that continues. And him and others like that are one of the signs, good signs going forward. Anyway, enough England chat. 20 minutes on England now. Back to what's important. Rotherham United, again, they broke us hearts not only, 2 months ago. But for the first time in 400 and something days, there were Rotherham fans watching Rotherham United at Parkgate on Saturday. I didn't get to go because my wife had to work last minute. I was devastated that I couldn't go. Mick and Ben didn't have tickets. Danny, you were one of the 800-strong crowd. What was it like just to be amongst a crowd and fellow Millers again?
Well, to be honest, I was quite lucky to go as well because a few days after I went to Code in Sheffield for the England-Germany game, I got a ping on my phone saying you need to self-isolate.
Oh, no.
And I ended up testing positive for COVID. And so in the week, I was meant to be going. So it's like, right, you know what? We'll keep doing tests every single day. Yeah. And if I get a negative before I go, then I'm going. If not, then I'll give a ticket to somebody. Yeah. And on the Thursday, I tested negative. And then again on the Friday and again Saturday morning. So it's like, I'm going. I'll keep myself to myself and I'll keep distance from everybody just in case, but I'm going. And it was just so nice to be in that sea of red and white again. You know, just everybody's all cheering on Rotherham. I mean, there are a few Parkgate fans dotted about as well, like obviously mates of the players. But just to be in that general chatter and meet people that you haven't seen for over 16 months, you know, it was just so nice just to go, oh, hi, how you doing? Oh, nice to see you again. And then as the game builds up, you start to get that sensation of we're back, you know, we're back and it's a Rotherham match day. I mean, fair play to Parkgate for hosting us. I mean, bless them, they conceded 11. But just to see the Rotherham players again, you know, it just warms your soul. I'll say that, it warms your soul.
Well, a lot of them we've never seen live before. You know, I personally I can't see Victor Hansen. I know it sounds a daft little thing, but he's become a bit of a cult hero this last year or so. And just to get behind him in flesh, it's going to be so. I'm looking forward to all of it. I can't wait. I'm really excited now. It was having conversations with a few fans down the end of the pitch as well, who, like you say, were obviously just nice to see him in person. Yeah. You were brilliant. I'm really looking forward to this. Mick, you didn't go because you were meant to be away. You didn't end up going away because of one thing or another. Yeah, it's just exciting that fans are back in. 5,000. The tickets hit 5,000. Say it sold on day of recording, Mick. It's just building and building.
Yeah, it's just building. It is, and it's not very far away, is it? And it's just it's almost within touching distance now. And I kind of don't want any friendlies at New York. I prefer it if there were no friendlies at New York. They were all a long way away where I can't go. I want my first experience back in that ground to be a league game, to be a game that means something. It's not going to be, obviously, because we've got some friendlies. But it would be great if it was that first league game. I mean, the atmosphere is just going to be fantastic anyway. And I suspect possibly the crowds for the home friendlies are going to be pretty decent as well. But yeah, it's been too long. been away for too long, and it cost us a place at Championship in my view, potentially. So we've got to start all over again now. We start back where we left off. Well, hopefully not quite where we left off at Rochdale, because nobody wants to see that again, do they? But yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing. I can't wait.
It's 11-0 win, Danny. So in pre-season, I know performances don't work, but is there anything that stood out in the game? Any little performances? Any goals in particular? Real highlights were minimal anyway. What stood out for you on the day, goal-wise?
I would say, especially in the first half, Josh Kayode looks a very strong and fast player. If he keeps up the level of intensity that he showed against Parkgate, he will be class in League One. And he's already starting to build a good playing relationship with Ogbene as well. Because every time Chio went down the right, Kayode was in the box, and 9 out of 10 crosses were exchanged between the two of them. And he got a goal as well. It were a penalty, but he got a goal on his first, should we say, Rotherham game back after going out on loan and in his pursuit of first team football now. So that was good. It was a good showing from Kayode. Later on in the second half, Matt Crooks scored an absolutely filthy goal.
That. Yeah,
but he was ruled out for offside, and it was like, no, don't do that to us. And then Ladipo got a hat-trick as well, so that might be a good omen for League One if he's already scoring a hat-trick in pre-season. But I have to give Parkgate credit for how they played as well. Because from the first minute to the 90th minute, they just didn't stop. They kept up their level of intensity and really gave us a game. And I think the only reason we won by that big of a scoreline was because we were a Championship club last season. So we've still got that level of quality in the core of the team. But now Parkgate played brilliantly. Their goalkeeper were their man of the match. just from some of the saves he pulled off, it was like you've seen league keepers do worse in a game against Rotherham. So fair play to him. And his head didn't go down. Every goal he scored, he was like, right, come on, let's just keep going. So now fair play to Parkgate. Now they played too.
Definitely, and it's been a bundle of cash at a time when clubs like that desperately need it as well. A year that they've had, and we've all had, clubs like that are desperate for cash. And it's good that I know there's other clubs locally which we haven't done it for, which we can't do it for everybody. But Parkgate have done well on the pitch. Well, played well on the pitch, but then financially have been massive for them. Striker Ben, he talks about Josh Kayode there and Freddie getting a hat-trick, and Michael Smith still with us as things stand. It's going to be an interesting fight for the top few spots, because if Kayode performs and scores, the chance that it's going to knock Freddie out of the team, and that's going to put a lot of pressure on Freddie. He won't be playing in League One, which is different to not playing in Championship.
Yeah, I think Freddie should play. I think it's Kayode's spot to earn, no matter what, in my opinion. But that being said, if Freddie plays crap and Kayode scores, Kayode.
I mean, you're saying the same thing.
I know. It sounds different. But
that's like saying, is it Ben or is it Ben? It's Ben.
If Kayode scores, like he scores 1 or 2 in every single game, and Freddie plays awful, then that's the reason why Kayode can't come into the team. But it's going to be interesting, man. Freddie's League One is Freddie's league, I think. But it's going to be interesting, man. I'm excited. I'm always excited at the start of every season. 110 points.
Record-breaking season. Yeah. It's really exciting. Really, really exciting. I love this time of season. It's one of them. I know the end of the season is where business happens, but at the start of the season, it's not gone wrong yet. Everything. The hope is still there, isn't it?
There speaks a Rotherham fan of many years. Here we are in August. Welcome to August. It's not gone wrong yet.
That's all I've got to cling on to now.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're there, mate. You're there. You've arrived.
A couple of trialists played. One trialist played. Sorry, I think it was. Am I right? The former Burton player. Do you know?
Reece Hutchinson was the trialist player who played second half.
Yeah. Am I right in saying Google says he's left back? Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, he did really well, to be honest. He showed very good pace on the left hand side. He's got a good cross on him. I think it may have been a little bit of an unfair release from Burton because he's progressed through their academy, got injured at the start of last season. I think he was only really walking towards the end of September again. So it could have been a fallout with Hasselbank, their manager. I don't know, but to say he's on trial with us and he's played like that in his first game, no wonder Paul Warne's got a little bit of an interest in him now. But like they've said, they'll have another look at him after the Hungary training camp and then go from there. Yeah,
looking at his stats, Mick, he's played 25 times a couple of years ago. 17.
What injury did he have?
It was something to do with his knee, and it stopped him putting weight on one of his knees. I had a stalk of his Twitter, and it said he was just back walking in September of 2020. So it must have been quite serious if he were only walking in September.
That's the type of player you want, though, isn't it? Vengeful player who got released because of injury. I mean, is there a more dangerous athlete than that?
Yeah. And you look at it, he's played about 25 times, 43 times in total for Burton over a couple of seasons, Mick. And again, we're a good club to look at for somebody like him who's just been released but has played a reasonable amount of time. Paul Warne's not a snob. Just because you've been at Burton and been released by Burton, Warne is not going to just forget about you. If he thinks you've got something there, he'll play you in a game and potentially bring you on. For him, he's just should be looked at something like Matt Olasunde and people like that who have come in as fullbacks, played well and then moved on.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's just not going to look much further than Michael Smith, has he? Taken off bench at Bury and now been loaded by some Championship clubs because of what he's done at Rotherham United. So yeah, I mean, it won't be a bad move for him. And Burton, in my experience, limited experience of Burton, have been a nasty, horrible side. Not a nasty, a horrible side to play in the sense that they've been very, very solid, very difficult team to break down in the past. If that's the kind of culture that he's come through, he's going to be a decent defender, you would have thought. So yeah, I mean, listen, I trust this recruitment team a lot more than some other millers. I've looked at it, looking through social media, but I do trust them. And if he's the right man, he'll come, and if he's not the right man, he won't. So, hopefully he is.
Yeah, a couple of people have trained with us. Lewis Page, again, is supposedly a left back at Charlton. I haven't seen anything confirmed on that he was training with us. That's the rumour. Again, he's another, reportedly injury-prone left back. But that's not really confirmed from anywhere. That's just rumours. As reported from the Outsiders today, Josh Chapman is a goalkeeper who I think has been released from Sheffield United, and we'll be looking at bringing him as a third-choice keeper. Danny, every club needs a third-choice keeper. And if you're not getting anybody in the youth ranks to run through a bench like we did with Lawrence Bilbo a few years ago, makes perfect sense. Just released from a big club. If he fits the personality mould, what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, exactly. And I had a chance to see him warming up at half time with Vickers and Johansson. And like I say, he's a young lad. I think he's only 18 or 19 or so. Just released from Sheffield United end of last season. And like we've already said, he will be a development sort of player and will probably play more reserve team football and first team football. But you need a backup. Say if Johansson gets injured again, which knowing Johansson, he probably will because it's Johansson. He'll run head first into a brick wall if he has to. So it's just nice just to have that little bit of security of if Johansson does get injured, we still have a keeper on the bench just in case. But no, I think he will develop well here because, as we've proven in the past, we are a little bit of a development club. We bring players in, we develop them, and then they move on and they have really good careers. It's like the Argentine keeper who's just won the Copa America. That's incredible. And he had a half-season loan with us, and he's just cracked on from there.
Yeah, he has. I didn't think about the day. Right.
I'm claiming that.
Why not?
Yeah, made him Rotherham won the Copa America with Argentina.
Victor will be fine this season because Gavin Ward's not refereeing our division, so he'll be all right.
There we go.
No, we don't have what's his name at Preston swinging his boot at his face as well.
Ted Evans.
Ted
Evans.
Yes, you're putting a lot of pressure on League One referees being slightly better, Mick. I'm open to
They are because
it's not a very high bar, is it?
Yeah, because they've got something to prove. Championship referees haven't. League One aren't professional, so they've got something to prove. But Championship aren't. So they can just sit back and just do what they want and have problems with keepers for no apparent reason.
You see, you haven't let it go either.
I have let it go. I just said that to try and get you going.
You don't need to do that. You just need to say his name.
Yeah. But talking of keepers, Victor Hansen came in last year as second choice, didn't he? So, and then what can happen? So, football's a funny old game. Couple of injuries, and your third choice keeper becomes your first choice, and your third choice left back becomes your first choice right back, and all these crazy things can happen in football. So that's that. Hungary trip, Mick. Week away in Hungary. It's good for them to get away, I suppose. They get to go. I know it's not a holiday, but they get to go away for a few days.
It's a change of scenery, and it's been around each other 24/7, isn't it? And it's about building those relationships, building those memories of a more intense atmosphere, if you like, with just each other to bounce off. It's a great idea, and we all know that they're going to be put through the paces big time while they're there. Yeah. And hopefully, not only will it build character, but it should build relationships as well, which is a massive thing.
They will, yeah. They'll have a bit more freedom. I know they're still going to stay in the bubble, but as Hungary, we're still in the Euros, they don't have any restrictions at the minute, so they'll be able to do whatever they want within reasonable guidelines, what they can do, which is good. Danny, when we, for the past few years, went to Austria, it's very, like Mick's just mentioned, it's very, very good team building stuff, hard work. You saw the pictures today of the staff on their run. It looks incredibly hard work. Just a picture.
It does. I mean, you wouldn't catch me running up a massive mountain at 7 o'clock in the morning. Not at all. But I think it also proves, that there's levels to how different clubs treat pre-season training camps. Because, like with us, it's just the players, the training staff, and it is just the training staff leading the whole exercise. So I think that shows that overall our club is united in the whole fitness idea. But then you've got clubs like Fleetwood who have got Ant Middleton leading their pre-season camp, and he's got them jumping in the Irish Sea as part of theirs. And it's like,
wow,
and I think we are going the right route where it's going to be hard and it's going to be very fitness orientated, but at the same time, it is a little bit like a working holiday. You've got your hard work, but then you've got your fun at the end of it. And it's like Warren has said, he's putting emphasis more on fun at the end of it this time round, because it's you build stronger relationships with people through fun interactions rather than just running up a big hill together. So I think going to Hungary is the right move rather than staying in England, and they've said it was cheaper as well.
Yeah,
with COVID testing.
It's crazy that.
Yeah.
Oh, I got the irony.
Yeah. Ben, you're a big fitness boy. You do a lot of training at the minute, trying to be an NFL padding type thing. That is right, though. You've got to enjoy what you're doing. If you're just training and you just sort of feel like you're training for the sake of doing it, you're going to stop doing it. You've got to enjoy what you're doing to an extent, and there's an aim to it, isn't there?
Oh, yeah. The minute it stops becoming fun, is just why you're doing it. But it's different strokes for different folks, isn't it? Some people with Ant Middleton, some people will, that'll help them no matter what. And then some people like to be kind of not nurtured. That sounds too soft, but like I don't know what the word is, like built up, if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
I know what you mean. And some people just like to be teared down, and that fuels them. And some people like to be built. But it's different strokes for different folks. And listen, if it gets us promoted, it's whatever works for the team, innit? It's whatever works at that moment. So I've no problem with it. And Warren is obviously going to test the fitness because, well, apparently from the player he used to be, the stories I've heard. So if it works, it works. We'll see it in the season, won't we?
Who the hell's Ant Middleton?
He's the SAS guy.
SOS. He's an SOS guy, yeah.
Is that Who Dares Wins, or whatever it is? Who Dares Wins?
Yeah.
You'll have seen him.
He was on telly.
Army guy.
Views.
Fine, whatever.
Military guy.
You'll see. He's got a beard. You will have seen him. He's a typical army type of army hard man.
Yeah.
Basically.
Right, fine.
Yeah, he got the boot from Channel 4 from a very risky tweet that he did a bit ago.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, not for Rotherham United. Thank you very much. So we talked about the 3 trialists we've got coming in. Has any of you three got any other rumours you've heard of incoming players? The Sean Rooney one seems to have died a little bit of a death.
I think Messi's contract's up, innit?
Well, they've registered him. They haven't signed him, but they've registered him. So,
what Rotherham have?
Yeah.
I seem to remember a conversation a couple of back in the last season about trying to find him somewhere to live in Rotherham, and I think that was stumbling block, weren't it, before? So you never know, mate. You never know. He's knocking on in years now, and he's so you might want to drop down a level.
Yeah, unlikely.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Danny, any transfer rumours you've seen? I've not seen very much of the past few, other than the 3 we've mentioned. I haven't seen very much.
No, it's gone very quiet at the minute. I have seen that Paul Warren has been talking to 2 potential targets. One was the day before they went to Hungary, and one was like on the day. But other than that, I've not really heard any like names mentioned. I know we've put an emphasis on defence now because we've only got one solid back 4 that we can put out really, and we've got Tilton, Angus MacDonald injured, so we need to strengthen defence. I think he's also after a midfielder, a wide player, and a possible striker because I've noticed that number 9's vacant now.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So we've gone from only needing 4 or 5 to potentially needing about 7 or 8 in the space of a couple of weeks. So it might pick up a little bit after Hungary, but at this moment in time, there's no names flying about at all.
And the Euros are finished now, aren't they, as well, which is going to make a difference. That's going to start to kickstart the transfer market, and it'll find its way down to us eventually. So.
Yeah.
I've not seen, to be honest, I've not seen Rob Scott running around a car park at New York waving his hands in air in a blind panic yet, so I'm assuming that things are going all right. I keep looking out for him.
I will say I have a sneaky bit of information with Rob Scott. He lives just down the road from where I am, and his car comes home very late at night at the minute during the week. It's like I hope you're pulling long days at the office, Rob, and you're not just out enjoying yourself. You need to be working, son.
Yeah.
That's definitely a good sign. Late nights from the office is a good sign for us, definitely.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to say that.
No, we don't say that. Don't say it.
Don't say anything incriminating.
No. I'm not going to say anything incriminating, but I'm not going to say it.
Okay, not going to say anything. Mick, you mentioned squad numbers. I know you don't care about squad numbers, but I do care about squad numbers.
I know you do.
So I'm going to talk about it. I like that Dan Barley has moved to a standard number. He's moved to number 4. He's took Sean McNall's number, which I'm a fan of. Kieran Sadlier, it might be nothing, but Kieran Sadlier has taken over the number 7 shirt, which again, for me, feels like a good sign. They tend to leave these shirts for people that feel that's going to be important. And as Danny mentioned, the number 9 shirt is wide open and vacant as things stand. Ben, I assume you don't care.
Squad numbers are really important to some people.
Okay.
Squad numbers sometimes someone's whole motivation to even play the sport. So, yeah, I do care.
Okay. You do care. What's your opinion on it?
I don't care. I don't care about checking number 7 because you know what I mean. That's just socially accepted as a very good number for some reason. But I mean, it is what it is, isn't it? Some people. That being said, it does kind of indicate that he's going to start. So it's gonna be interesting, man. I'm so excited. I'm very excited.
Yeah. No, I think the number 2's still open as well. No,
Harding's number 2 now.
Yeah. Interesting. Coyote just took 19. I had a thought that Coyote might take the number 9 shirt. I'm a little bit surprised it hasn't because I thought Brave might have asked for it. Although maybe you don't want the curse of George Hurst hanging over his head from last season, maybe that's part of it.
Might as well just retire the number 9 shirt now.
Yeah. Exactly. We'll finish off on the potential outgoings. One confirmed outgoing to Trevor Clark, who has gone over to Bristol Rovers for a fee. I don't know what the fee is. But for him to play as little as he did, Danny, and then get a little bit of money from him is not the... It's a frustrating move from start to finish, but in terms of an exit, it sort of makes sense all around.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, it must be frustrating for him to come over to England and not get as much game time as he would have wanted. But I think the reason we signed him was because we thought Joe Mattock might move on somewhere else. Because at the time he was kicking towards 30, and we thought might move somewhere else. But he stuck with us.
His contract as well, weren't he? Were he at contract into that season as well?
Might have been, I can't remember. But I know that he did sign a new contract maybe 1 or 2 years ago. And I think it just didn't work out with Clark. It was the same with Purrington. We signed Purrington for a similar reason. Didn't work out, and we still got a money's worth for him. And now the same has happened with Clark. And I mean, he wasn't a bad player. It's not because he played badly that he got shuffled off. It was just didn't get the opportunity with us, and hopefully he gets it at Bristol Rovers and he can crack on a bit. But we've always got that memory of him scoring that wonder goal against Doncaster in the Pizza Trophy. And we won 3-2, so we can hold that memory of him at least.
Yeah, he's on that list of players, Mick, that I just wish he'd done well. I really, really wanted him to do well.
Yeah.
It just never happened. He had 10 minutes here and there. Like Danny says, he had a good goal. We're just always bits and bobs.
It was, and he is, like you said, one of those players that you desperately want to do well. For me, George Hurst was another one of those. I really wanted him to do well, and he just didn't. But I don't think Trevor Clark fits with whatever's happening at the club. I just don't, and I don't know why. It's not something that I can put my finger on. But even when he was playing, he didn't really look to me like he was part of the team, and that's a ridiculous thing to say, but I don't know. There's just something about it that it didn't fit, and I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. I hope he has a good career. He's a really, really quick lad, and I'm sure he's a really nice lad as well. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been at New York. So I hope he goes on and does really, really well. But and he's gone to a decent club as well, a good club as well.
A good club with a questionable manager.
Well, yeah, that's as maybe, but
Bristol Rovers for that league. Bristol Rovers are a big club for League Two.
Yeah, they're a big club, full stop, aren't they, in terms of support and everything else? And you're right. I'm surprised he's gone to somebody like that as a manager, but he'll not stick around for very long, will he? He'll get fired. He'll get sacked, or assess them, or punch somebody, or whatever.
Who's manager?
It's inevitable, isn't it? Yeah.
So I think it's inevitable from what he said.
Well, I mean. He does it time and again, doesn't he? So it's only a matter of time before he gets locked up or whatever. I don't know. It's going to happen.
The thing is, with him playing 10 minutes, playing less time than George Hurst, and then going to a manager like that, makes me wonder what he's been doing in training. He must have been awful in training. He must have been awful with an awful attitude, especially if he's on to Joey Barton. I think it says a lot about him. Because Hurst played more time than him. So it makes me wonder how he's performing in training. Then going to a manager like that says a lot. So I think it's at best. To be honest, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, interesting take. Ben, again, we come to you with fitness questions and sports science questions. Even though you have 0 qualifications, I should put that out there before I ask
the qualifications mean? It's a piece of paper. I understand some are important.
That's what Ben is.
Yeah, exactly. Curtis Till apparently tore his hamstring very badly just a few short weeks ago, Ben. He put on Twitter that he is back running on grass. This rang a lot of alarm bells with a lot of people, including myself, thinking, oh, hang on here. Paul Warren's words were, it's a bad tear. I think it's something along those lines. Thoughts?
Looks it. I mean, bad hamstring tear. Hamstring, from my knowledge, is one of the most important muscles when moving, walking, running. So to be running, it can't be bad. It can't be bad. A bad tear would be, you said October, it would be on the city or in bed or whatever. He'd be bedbound with crutches. If he's running, that is not a bad tear. I think they've mistaken players. To be honest with you. Put the wrong name down on injury list. I have no idea. I'm just baffled as you are, to be honest with you. There's a mistake somewhere.
Well, hopefully it weren't a bad tear and he is back running and not rushing back. He's another player that I'd like to see do well for us. And I don't know. Somewhere in the back of my head is telling me something. Somewhere is telling me that he probably doesn't really want to be here. Don't know why. I've got nothing at all to back that up, and I might be miles off the mark. I don't know. It's just something.
That's an interesting
somewhere.
take. That's very interesting because to say that he's injured, some people do that in sports in the past because they don't want them to play for the club, and then to put on Twitter that you're running is a rebellious type thing. Maybe that's interesting. That I hadn't thought about it like that.
I thought it from the start, to be honest, but I don't know. We'll see. I hope I'm wrong.
Oh yeah,
Danny, any thoughts? It feels like we're talking about some conspiracy theories here, which I
I was just about to say we're going down rabbit hole here. We might have to get that's gone soon. But potentially, they might have thought it was a bad hamstring tear to start with, and a scan said something different. I don't know. But like you said, for one to say he might be out until October, and then only a few days later he's saying he's back on the grass, it's a bit. I wouldn't really say it's an alarm bell, but there's like a little chime at the back of your head that says that don't matter, does it?
Yeah.
But I don't know. We might be looking too much into it, or it might come out that he just wants away. But we've got him under contract till when is it? Is it 24 or 23 that he's under contract till?
It's at least 2 years.
Yeah. So we might be saying the injury thing because he wants away, and it's like we don't want him to go. So we're saying, he's injured, no one come after him. But then for him to do that, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's one of them things where you've seen a bit of suspicion, and if he ends up forcing a move away, we'll say you force that, and if not, and he cracks on when his supposed injury clears up, then we could say it got a bit conspiracy theory between fans, but we'll see what happens.
The more I think about it, it just makes me think that he's being a little baby. And not a little baby. Not a little baby. No, I don't mean that. I don't mean that. But to put that on after your manager's just come out and said, I'm out to October, and then nothing be released from the club, and then to put that on that doesn't happen. That just doesn't happen. For nothing to be released externally from the club or whatever, internally, I mean, that's more than dodgy. That's very attitudey. I want to move away. I'm going to force my move away, and I'm going to make the club look bad if I don't get my move, type thing.
Interesting. I know Ben's partial to a conspiracy theory, so I understand where you're coming from.
I don't want to show off our unofficial expert saying this, but with hamstring tears, anything above a 1 is classed as severe. But I think you've got 2A and 2B, and of the two, if you have a 2B, your hamstrings are messed up for quite a while. Because I was playing, I call it college football because I was at college playing football. And I did both my hamstrings. One was a 2A and one was a 2B. And the one that was a 2B is still affecting me, and it were about 3 years ago. So there's that. But if it's only one hamstring and it's a 2A, he could maybe be running right now. Not like full intensity running, like in full training, but just like doing lines up and down, potentially. But if they've come out saying it's a severe tear, it could be a 2A or a 2B, with a 2B being worse.
Ben, you've been trumped.
Yeah, I don't know any of that. I don't. I'm going to say this right now. I'm touching wood. I don't need the muscles. I'm touching wood right now. This is a bone, and I know I did wrong because I was stupid, but whatever.
Okay. We're going to move on, but we've gone much longer than we've gone. We haven't talked about Smith or Crooks moving away yet. So, quick, about 5 minutes on Crooks and Smith. Mick, the Crooks interest is ramped up. Ipswich's pathetic offers have been rebuffed, as they should have been, and the Championship clubs have apparently started to come in with, I think the phrase on the advertisement was something like significantly increase from Ipswich's offer, but still below our asking price. You would have assumed that's if it's significantly higher than Ipswich, that should blow them out of the water and we can forget about them.
Yeah, you would hope so, wouldn't you? Like we said on the last podcast their offers were just derisory, really. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, absolutely. Ultimately, if we don't get a valuation met, I don't think he'll go. I don't think they'll sell. I genuinely don't. So we'll have to wait and see. To be honest with you, from my own point of view, from a club point of view, and from a Matt Crooks point of view, I hope he gets a decent move. I hope he gets a good move because it'll suit all parties. It'll suit him to get himself playing back in the Championship and further his career, and it'll benefit the club because obviously we'll get a really, really good fee for him and make a massive profit on it. And then what that does in turn is it makes other players look at, well, look what's happened with Matt Crooks. He's gone there from Northampton, and now he's playing for X, Y, or Z in Championship, and he's had a £2 million move, £3 million move, whatever. I wonder whether Rotherham's the place for me. You know what I mean? So it starts to cultivate that sort of culture as well, which is clearly what the plan is down in New York. So I kind of hope he gets the move, if I'm honest. And likewise with Smithy, exactly the same principle applies for me.
Yeah, I think Smith is probably hardest to replace, and that sounds a really daft thing to say because how good Crooks is. But Smithy is so important to the way we play. He's been rumoured again, Ben, Championship clubs. Paul Warne said something on the lines of, don't come in with a $250,000 offer, which says to me somebody has come in with that kind of offer for Michael Smith. It's $1 million quid for Smithy, isn't it?
It's just disrespectful. Anything under $1 million. He's disrespectful to the hard work he's put in, disrespectful to what he's contributed to our team. I'm baffled as to who thinks that's going to go to, you know what I mean, front office or whatever gets, oh yeah, that's a good offer, that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's like, who thinks that? When Will Grigg went for $5 million a couple of years back, and you're looking at that offer, and it's like, really? Like, am I the only one that sees these things, or like, am I the only one that watches him play? Because they must be thinking of some Michael Smith from Parkgate or something, because it's unreal. But it will be hard to replace because of the work ethic that he's got and stuff like that. But that being said, if he does go and you bring someone else in with that work ethic, they then become another player that's hard to replace, if that makes sense, in a different way, which is a good routine to get into. So, yeah.
It is. Danny, your thoughts on Smith, on both players, really? Your thoughts on the bids that have so far supposedly come in, and on that, yeah.
I agree that Smith's a very hard player to replace because he brings something unique to our front line. And I know a lot of people think it goes back to the stereotype of just lump it forward to Michael Smith, but it's more than that. He's also quite good on the ball, so he's hard to replace. So like you say, $1 million for Smith isn't exactly overselling him. it's a really valid offer. But with the Crooks situation, for Ipswich to come in very low with 2 bids, part of it's like, well, yeah, it's just testing the water and that's business, we'll see where they are. But at the same time, I think a lot of clubs still have the mentality of, oh, it's Rotherham, they'll sell him just to get money.
Yeah.
And for us to be in a position where we can say to Ipswich, you've offered us possibly 600k and we've said no, it's like that shows we're in a healthy position financially. And then to say the Championship clubs increase that and then we've turned it down, so it's like Mick says, we hope it goes for a good we get start again, put my teeth back in. We hope he gets a good deal out of it, but at the same time we're not in a position where we have to sell him, because he's still got a year left on his deal, which I think trips a lot of people up, thinking we'll lower the price, because we've still got the option on his contract of adding it on for another year. So we could do a situation like with Volks, where we offered that 8-year extension and then got over 2 million for him from Cardiff. So we could have a similar situation with Crooks, but we have to remember Crooks's whole setup is in Yorkshire. He's got the Jordan Sinnott Foundation, which is based in Huddersfield, well, around Huddersfield. His family's all in Yorkshire. So why would he move somewhere as far away as Ipswich? I have to think of the human side of it as well. So I think if he was to go anywhere, he'd go to a Yorkshire club. And if he had a choice, he'd go back to Huddersfield. But unless that offer comes in, I reckon he'll stay with us. Because he hasn't said no to a new deal. He's just said, we'll see where we are next year.
Yeah, and if he has got an option like he probably has, then he's affected up 2 years of his contract, because there's no way we're not going to extend it. So it's essentially a 2-year contract, isn't it? Which is, Right, we're going to finish there because we've got over an hour. That's what we do. So thank you all for listening. And if you watch on YouTube, thank you for that as well. Please subscribe on YouTube if you can, and like the video. If you're on iTunes, give us a subscribe and 5 stars if you can as well. We would very, very much appreciate that. We'll be back at some point in the near future. We've got so many friendly games coming in the next few weeks and things such as that. So we'll keep coming probably once a week until the season starts. And then when the season starts, we're going to do a couple of different things we have planned, but we'll see how they come through when the planning ends and the action starts. So thank you very much. Thank you, Danny, for joining us today. We've enjoyed it, mate. We've been a pleasure having you on.
Yeah, it's been a good natter, hasn't it? It's been very good.
Yeah. Good to talk Millers for a bit, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Mick, you've been pretty positive today, which makes a positive change. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much. Whatever.
And Ben, I hope your arm gets better.
Thank you. Wrist. Thank you.
Oh my God. Yeah, all right.
It's different. A broken arm is like what, 6-7 weeks? I don't know. Wrist is up in 3 weeks, so it's different. It's completely different. But whatever. It is. Wrist is on my arm.
Thanks for listening, everybody. And we'll see you next time.
Pringle looking towards Agard.